John Calvin, on Psalm 33, verses 4 through 22. For the word of the Lord is right, and all his works are done in truth. He loveth righteousness and judgment. The earth is full of the goodness of the Lord. By the word of the Lord were the heavens made, and all of the host of them by the breath of his mouth. He gathered the waters of the sea together as an heap. He layeth up the depth in storehouses. Let all the earth fear the Lord. Let all the inhabitants of the world stand in awe of him. For he spake, and it was done. He commanded, and it stood fast. The Lord bringeth the counsel of the heathen to nought. He maketh the devices of the people of none effect. The counsel of the Lord standeth forever, the thoughts of his heart to all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, and the people whom he hath chosen for his own inheritance. The Lord looketh from heaven, he beholdeth all the sons of men. From the place of his habitation he looketh upon all the inhabitants of the earth. He fashioneth their hearts alike, he considereth all their works. There is no king saved by the multitude of an host. A mighty man is not delivered by much strength. An horse is a vain thing for safety, neither shall he deliver any by his great strength. Behold, the eye of the Lord is upon them that fear him, upon them that hope in his mercy, to deliver the soul from their death, and to keep them alive in famine. Our soul waiteth on the Lord, he is our help and our shield. For our heart shall rejoice in him, because we have trusted in his holy name. Let thy mercy, O Lord, be upon us, according as we hope in thee. By the word of the Lord were the heavens made, their starry host by the breath of his mouth. That he may stir us up to think more closely of God's works, the psalmist brings before us the creation of the world itself. For until God be acknowledged as the creator and framer of the world, who will believe that he attends to the affairs of men, and that the state of the world is controlled by his wisdom and power? But the creation of the world leads us by direct consequence to the providence of God. Not that all men reason so justly, or are so endued with so sound a judgment as to conclude that the world is at this day maintained by the same divine power which was once put forth in creating it. On the contrary, the great majority imagine that he is an idle spectator in heaven of whatever is transacted on earth. But no man truly believes that the world was created by God, unless he also is firmly persuaded that it is maintained and preserved by him. Wisely and properly, therefore, does the prophet carry us back to the very origin of the world, in order to fix in our minds the certainty of God's providence in the continual order of nature. The breath of his mouth is used figuratively for the very utterance of speech, as if it had been said, as soon as God uttered the breath of his mouth, or proclaimed in word what he wished to be done, the heavens were instantly brought into existence, and were furnished, too, with an inconceivable number and variety of stars. It is indeed true that this similitude is borrowed from men, but the Scriptures often teach in other places that the world was created by that eternal Word, who, being the only begotten Son of God, appeared afterwards in the flesh. From heaven the Lord looks down and sees all mankind. The psalmist still proceeds with the same doctrine, namely, that human affairs are not tossed here and there fortuitously, but that God secretly guides and directs all that we see taking place. Now he here commends God's inspection of all things, that we on our part may learn to behold and to contemplate with the eye of faith his invisible providence. There are, no doubt, evident proofs of it continually before our eyes, but the great majority of men, in their blindness, imagine that all things are under the conduct of a blind fortune.